We're back with another quick video about the E4K Plus and the microSD cards. This is a follow-up to my previous video where I said that you probably shouldn't update your firmware because it will make some SD cards unrecognizable by the camera. So today is Tuesday, May 9th. Just yesterday, Yi had released a new firmware update for the E4K Plus, and I'll show you. I just updated my firmware, and I'll show you what it is now. So the previous build was 1.0.4, and now I've updated the camera to 1.0.18 build 669R, which Yi lists a bunch of new stuff on the camera. The most important one being that my previous Samsung EVO Plus SD card now works again, where after the 1.0.4 update it stopped working. I took a gamble on this one because it was pretty cheap, and it's a U3 card. It's called the Samsung 128GB EVO Select, and as you can see it says Class 10 U3. This card is pretty cheap compared to the recommended cards. I got this card for $44.99 on Amazon, and it's 128 gigabytes. I believe the cheapest card that Yi recommends is the SanDisk ones, and they're for twice as much. So if you want to take a gamble on this and buy this on Amazon, it works on the new firmware update. So this is the quick list of improvements that they made for firmware 1.0.18, and it says adds 24 FPS and 48 FPS for certain resolutions. I know the 24 FPS was a request from a lot of people that they wish the camera had. Now it has it. Adds SD card optimization. Optimizes SD card compatibility. I'm guessing that, whoops, that's the one that fixed the problem for the Samsung microSD cards. I didn't know these were a problem because I haven't used these features yet, but fixes loading time when view album files, fixes video playback problem, fixes the resolution settings when in time-lapse mode. So I didn't get a chance to try any of those features yet, so I didn't even know it was a problem, but I guess it fixes it. Okay, so we'll take a look at the new features in the camera on the frames per second. Previously on the 4K, you only had 30 frames per second or 60 frames per second. Now you can see there's a 24 frames per second option and a 48 frames per second option. Let's take a look at the SD card things. Previously you had just SD card format, and now you have SD card optimization. I'm not really sure what SD card optimization does. I do know that it formats your card as well, so not really sure what that does yet. That's all I got for now. So go ahead and update your E4K Plus firmware to the latest firmware. It will allow you those extra features, and if your SD card stopped working in the past, it should start working again. Mostly, I believe they were the Samsung cards. Once again, I would recommend this if you want to take a gamble. It's the 128 gigabyte Samsung EVO Select card on Amazon. It's for $44.99. Pretty cheap compared to the other 128 gigabyte microSD cards that Yi recommends for. They run about $69. So who knows? It's a good gamble because you don't know if a future firmware is going to mess up the Samsung cards again and have them stop working, or if from now on these cards are going to continue working after future firmware updates. That's all I got. Bye-bye.